Everyone, it's Tom again. Today I want to talk about, does absolute truth exist? So, very simply put, God is infinite. So, not only is he infinite, though, everything that is going to ever be has already been because he is outside of time, and everything that is aspects of him because God is in all things and through all things. That's a Bible verse. So, if God is in all things and through all things, he is all knowing, not because he knows it, because he has actually experienced all things. That's my take on it. I don't view him as like, oh, I know this conceptual thought that's never existed and he has the answer. No, he's played it out in reality, and that's actually what we are. We are actually playing himself out in reality as different aspects of him. So, anyways, so does absolute truth exist? So many of our belief systems in the world are basically, this is absolute truth. And a lot of people will be like, oh, I was raised in this, therefore I believe it. But they never actually question anything. They don't allow other points of view to actually come into the frame of reference. And even if you look at court, you look at business ideas, tactics, you want to get things that basically triangulate truth to where you got a better generalization. So if you want to know where you're on a map, you got to triangulate. You got to use cell towers. You got to do all these different things, GPS. You don't just go, boom, there it is. You literally need multiple frames of reference. So, does absolute truth exist? I would say it does exist because God knows all things and is in all things, through all things. He knows everything. But in our three-dimensional reality where there's actual lies built into it. So the fact that we live in duality, we ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, whether it's real or metaphor, it doesn't matter. But we live in this duality where it's this versus this or this versus this. And Jesus said where the two become one, that's where the truth is. So we're constantly fighting from these extremes that are not balanced. And we need to actually go in the middle, aka get different points of reference to actually triangulate where truth is. So does absolute truth exist? I would say absolutely. But we can't experience it at our stage of consciousness in this dimension. That being said, I believe we're going to be chasing the coattails of God forever and ever. So truth will always be expanding. Not actually that truth is expanding, but our consciousness is expanding into truth. It's already there. Just finally we're going to be able to realize it. Now, growing up, I was raised, white Republican, traditional Christian. Okay, lived in a little bubble. They don't know a whole lot about other things. And then if I study something, it'd be like, oh, I got to disprove this based on my belief. So, like, I studied, like, who cares? It doesn't even matter. But I would study other things because I needed, you even view it from an ego standpoint, or, like, my truth is the only truth, therefore I got to disprove this, therefore it proves this. But now I'm older. I've been broken, I guess you can say, to where I don't live in this ego paradigm of I need to be right. It's more of I get to discover new truths and see where they line up. All right, guys, so this is what I call the dartboard of truth. Maybe I'll come up with a cooler name later. Let's dive in. So, sin. What is sin? It's a Greek term basically saying missing the mark. So, say here's a bullseye, and I shoot the arrow right here. The distance from here to here is a sin. It's not evil. It just means you can do better from here to here. So, truth is the same way. There's always more truth. I don't believe that every paradigm or belief system is complete truth. I think there's lies built in. Satan told us a lie mixed in with the truth. We don't believe lies because they're flat out lies. We believe them because there's a hint of truth in them and a lie's attached to it. So every paradigm or belief system in the world has its own triangle on this chart, okay? So there's Christianity right here, and atheism will be over here. I believe there's some truth in atheism. They imply that there's no big man standing in the sky with a beard that's just commanding people what to do, that has an ego. Also, they don't believe there should be a guy that exists that sends everyone to hell for all eternity, burning on fire forever and ever because he gets pissed off. All right, so there's truth in that. There might be truth in the Big Bang Theory. There might be truth in evolution. Maybe evolution has more to do with our spiritual growth than our physical stuff. I'm not arguing for or against. It's literally irrelevant, but this is how I view the world. So, every belief system has a triangle. As you are out here, you have outer darkness, you have lies. As you move into the circle, where they all meet, that is where there's truth. And then also, when they hit the bullseye, that's where the greatest truth is. It's usually the most hidden, though. It's usually, in my opinion, esoteric or Gnostic. It's not face value, I guess is what I'm saying. It's more of a spiritual truth built into what we perceive as a third dimensional truth. Anyways, I don't need to go there. So I'm noticing where the most truths combined in the middle, that's where the actual truth is. So Christianity, when the single eye is filled with light, the whole body will be filled with light. What does that mean? What's a single eye? We don't know what a single eye is in Christianity. Oh, let's look at Hinduism over here. Oh, what is single eye? That's your third eye. Oh, we should meditate. When we meditate, we will be filled with light, and our whole body will be filled with light. It's we will have truth. We will have understanding. We will not live in outer darkness. So that's just one example. You can go on and on for all this. Like Buddhism is a lot of it's in Christianity. A lot of Hinduism is in Christianity. And I'm listening to Hindu, I guess you can say, gurus, and they recite the Bible so well, but they get the bigger truths because the truths are all in the center. They're all lining up here. They're saying, oh, we have our truths in Hinduism over here, and Christianity says this thing, oh, maybe we should understand it through a Hindu lens where they all meet in the middle, and then we get a greater understanding. We get a more holistic approach to truth. Because everyone in the past, there's just like very acute truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. I'm Christian, blah, 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 blah. And Hindus will be like, well, I believe this, and they won't force it, ironically, because they're Hindu. But once you get in here, you can triangulate this point with this point, and then they could talk about multiple dimensions or how the world expands and closes in on itself, which is very Hindu, which is also very Big Bang. Big Bang and Big Collapse. I forgot what it's called in the collapse. But anyways, it's there. They're touching. Maybe Christianity can learn a few things from these things. Anyways, I can go on and on, on and on, and on and on. My life goal, I feel like, is just combine people like this to where there's actual truth in the middle. I can talk to a Hindu all day and be like, holy crap, I believe this, this, and this. We believe the same thing. Then I talk to a philosopher. He'll say something, and I'll say a Bible verse to back it up. So there's a greater form of triangulation between all of us. Therefore, it is a greater truth. Our eyes are open. They're expanded. They're balanced. They're not on me versus philosopher versus Hindu versus atheism. Instead, it's like, hey, we got some stuff to give each other. Let's grow from it and get a better understanding of where we're at because we're triangulating and we're being holistic about truth. Like we go to the doctor. A lot of people who are probably listening to this video are learning to go in, be more holistic in their health, do diet, exercise, organic, no chemicals, no toxins. And then all of a sudden you learn that, you can cure yourself of cancer. And it's called holistic medicine. You're taking things from all points of view. Doesn't necessarily cause people to go, no, I'm not going to do chemo, but they're taking in a view from a higher bird's eye perspective that combines everything to where it becomes a greater truth. And we need to do the same thing in religion and philosophy and just our paradigms in general. Instead of combating each other and having outer darkness where all our truths are cut off from each other and we all just live in the lie of outer darkness and we're all happy over here. I'm a Christian and I'm the only truth and I'm an atheist, blah, blah, blah. And I'm a this and I'm a that. No. In the middle, man. That's where the truth is. That's where the two become one. That's where the kingdom of heaven is. The singularity, this unity consciousness. Let's go there. Let's not live in polarized duality of opposing views. Let's live in the little island in the middle where we can all be happy and actually get the truth that actually sets us free. All right, here's another thing. So, you're in math class and you're like, when am I ever going to use this? Well, I'm finally using sine and cosine. Okay. All right, so let's take that early example of food and apply it to a sine wave cosine chart. So say this is a truth right here. Here's a singularity. There's no lie or truth built into it yet. But once we add the sine wave, so say it's that. And then, who cares? Anyway, so the truth is right here. I need food to live. So McDonald's will actually help me out. But then you go into the negative that's built into it. Well, actually, fast food is going to harm me if I do it long term. All right. So then let's say, Then let's say, I don't want to redraw this, but say instead of this being at 0, let's make it the 1, okay, right here. So now we're moving on away from fast food to, okay, we need to eat home-cooked meals. Eating home-cooked meals are better than eating out. But the lie built into it is, actually, we need to be organic, or there's a higher truth. So we need to understand that our food is not organic, so therefore eating from home is not necessarily the best thing for us. So then we move on to the next truth. Oh, eating organic food from home. Number 2 truth as we move up the scale. Eating organic food is very good for us, but it's not the best way because you could eat raw organic and you get the food directly from the source without the nutrients and life source being cooked out of it. Here's an example of an actual... So here's a cooked tomato. This is like some magnetic fields or something, energy flowing through it, okay? We have actual technology that can do that. So if you cook a tomato, it kind of kills it. It's not pure. But if you have a raw tomato, the energy is still there, it's still very much alive. Same with broccoli, kind of dead inside, little sparks here and there, but this one's way more beautiful. Same thing goes for meat. So as you can see, the food that you're eating is more alive. And people argue that you can't digest it. You can totally digest it. It's not an issue. Some people, everyone's different, but as a majority. Anyway, so then you get to a new truth. Oh, we don't need necessarily to eat food. You move up to breatharian. I'm not going to go there. We already talked about it. Point is, the truth is always rising, but there's always a lot of truth in it, but a lie is attached to it. So the singularities, there's always a singularity where there's truth and lie combined, but when they expand, you get to identify them. Once you identify the lie, you unlock. Once you identify the lie right here, you unlock yourself to move up the level. Now, Christ, ironically, said, pick up your cross and follow me. Mathematically, what does that mean? Here's a crossbar. Right here, right? This is your level of existence, your plane of existence. And this is heaven, kingdom of heaven on earth or kingdom of hell on earth, whatever. Negative is lower, positive is up, just from wherever you're at currently. So Jesus says to raise your cross. I believe he is referencing raise your plane of existence. You can argue a million different ways. I'm not saying it's only this way. But pick up your cross doesn't necessarily mean die on a cross. It can mean, hey, this is your cross. Get rid of the lie holding you back, and the truth will set you free. And you raise your cross, and you follow him up the plane of consciousness, ironically. So, anyways, I can go on and on about this. There's so many different things. Like the truth, like Christianity believes astrology is of the devil. But in Genesis 1, it says the stars are for signs. So why are we not looking at the stars? What's going on? Well, okay, look at the star of Bethlehem. That's about it. Okay. And there's but there's truth in astrology that is all throughout the Bible. Michelangelo drew pictures of it. There's truth within Christianity. Oh, there was a temple, then Jesus was the temple, then our bodies are the temple. It's a lower state of consciousness to a higher state of consciousness. So anyways, I could talk about this all day. There's other things like science. String theory. People are saying stuff about that's not true, but it always jumps off that point and goes full circle into a new truth. But there's still truth in string theory. They just might not all be reconciled. And science, we could only study the physical reality, and religion is the spirit's the true part. But now metaphysics are coming around, and they're taking pictures of, as I showed you, the fruit. You can take use this Russian photography where you take a leaf off of a tree, take a photo, they see the energy of the leaf on the tree. This has been around forever. They're taking pictures of auras. This double split experiment. Thought consciousness affects the outcome of actual stuff in the world. So all this stuff is happening, and they're all becoming more holistic. They're no longer in outer darkness. They're starting to combine, and if religion and science got on the same board, we probably have a lot more breakthroughs. So there's always this higher truth built into everything. So, do we have absolute truth? Yes. Do we experience it? No. We live in duality. We live in opposing concepts. We need to go to singularity truth and actually just raise our consciousness, stop living in judgment, and actually allow ourselves to actually meet in the middle where there's balance and get the highest truth possible. Again, back to the dartboard of truth. So one, we need to not live in judgment against every other belief. We need to be open to everything and attached to nothing. So I am Christian. I need to not be attached to my beliefs so hard that I can't see the truth in Hinduism, in atheism, in philosophy, and all these other beliefs. I sat down with a Mormon couple the other day. They're our neighbors. They're awesome people. I believed with everything they said, literally. They have a belief that you can graduate and become a star, you get a planet, you become the sun, whatever. Paul says we will shine like stars in the heaven. Jesus says, based on what you do, you will get more talents, or based on what you do, you will rule this many cities. Why can't you advance it into other things? Why is Christianity, why do we believe there's only like heaven on earth and that's it? And then there's heaven on earth and that's it in the future, and there's nothing else, and there's no evolution from there. God's infinite. We're made in his image. We are infinite. We're going to have multiple experiences across different dimensions, across completely different worlds, just for experience. And we're going to raise our consciousness and learn from experience and chase the coattails of God forever and ever. So, anyways, just my 2 cents on, does absolute truth exist? Again, I do believe it exists. We don't experience it because we are not experiencing all truth at once. Until we do that, if we can ever do that, I don't know. We're not going to experience it. But also, a lot of us use logic to find truth, and really we need to go inside into our intuition, in spirit, in meditation, and have God write his laws, his thoughts on our heart directly, not go through our pastors. Jesus said, call no man your teacher. It's like literally, he wants to teach you directly. I'm not your teacher. Your pastor's not your teacher. Feed yourself. Grow into meats. Don't be, breastfed by other people, I guess you could say what Paul said. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Thanks, guys. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Or if you didn't like it, by all means, do that too. It's your prerogative. I enjoy doing this for you guys. And that's about it. Later.